Roughing It Up is extremely happy to announce our new partnership with PSL City Tickets. You could follow them on all social media platforms at PSL City Tickets. And stay tuned as we will have tickets to give away for sporting events, including tailgating. Visit pslcity.net to get the best tickets in your city today.
Now, it's the hottest podcast in the world. From WWE to TNA by way of the NWA. It's referee Brian Hebner, legendary WWE referee and Mr. Reffin Rant himself, Jimmy Corderas, and OVW and TNA senior official Daniel Spencer. It's time for Reffin' It Up.
Welcome back to Reffin' It Up. I'm RJ, Daniel, Brian, Jimmy. How we doing, guys?
Okay, where do I begin? First of all, hope everybody had a happy and safe last week, Canada Day and 4th of July, which fell on the same day. The only problem with Canada Day for me was that was the day our air conditioning went kaput.
Oh, boy.
Out, completely fried, done like dinner. And it's been what? Just over a week. And this Thursday is when we're getting our new one. And probably once they install it, we won't be needing it. But other
Central
than that,
air?
great guys. Great guys.
Is it central air or is it like a window?
No, central air.
Okay.
Big 2-ton unit.
Come on now, Jimmy Corderas ain't rolling around with no window units.
Hey,
But I will
I
say,
never know.
That was in my 48 Chrysler, but that's a different story.
but I will say, guys, I'm not even lying to you. It is so scorching hot here in Virginia. It's almost like you don't even want to check your mail. I've got to take my trash to the street tonight. I have trash pickup, and I will literally be a sweaty pig by the time I get back. It's just, and it's not like I live like 2 miles off the road or anything. It's like I live 200 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just insane.
That's why you have kids, Brian. Hey, go put the trash out.
Yeah, you ought to try my kids. They can't even pick up a piece of trash in the middle of the floor. They walk over it.
Worth a shot.
I could just imagine
as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been hot here as well. But great holiday. We all celebrated. Even Jimmy celebrated. Well, you had Canada Day, and then we celebrate the 4th, and it's a great time, and great. I'm just glad to be back in the habit here, guys.
I know that's the one thing that sucks about holidays. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what the 4th of July means, celebrating our freedom and all that stuff. But damn it, we missed a whole week with the Reffin' It Up Nation, and and we're sorry about that. But we did have to celebrate.
And speaking of celebrations, by the way, last week, congratulations to our friends at Busted Open Radio. That started Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Shout out to those guys, Dave LaGreca, and those hard work pays off. We kind of alluded to it when we had Gabby on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we were hoping it happened, and it did. So all they need now, all they're missing now is a referee show. I wonder who could do that.
They are, aren't they?
Who?
Well, we'll see.
Wait, where's those owls are in here again? Jesus. Anyways, it is a busy week. We're starting off hot. We're bringing in Carlito in just a little bit, but before that,
cool us down when we bring him in. He'll cool us down.
We'll all get hot after restaurant review, and he'll cool us down. But before we get cooled down, why don't we send it up to our first count right here on Reffin' It Up?
This is your one count.
Guys, very, very busy weekend in professional wrestling this week between All In Texas. We have Evolution 2 on Sunday. We have Saturday night's main event on Saturday. And then we have was a Great American Bash as well for NXT. So we got a lot of wrestling to go watch, Jimmy. What's something, we got the list, the card for each show, but what's something that you're looking forward to? A match, a moment, whatever the case may be this weekend.
Okay.
Jimmy, before you start, let me ask you one thing really quick. This goes to all of y'all.
Okay.
Answer individually. Jimmy, are you watching all that's going to be offered this weekend?
I will try to get as much of it in as I can.
Daniel?
I can't guarantee everything.
I mean, I will see everything when it's all said and done. Now, how I'm watching everything, that's what's live and what I'm going to watch on tape or whatever. It's a different story, because also I'm going to be out of town for Dave Hero this weekend, so that's my issue. So some won't be live, but I'll eventually watch it all when it's all said and done.
RJ?
Believe it or not, I'm kind of leaning towards, depending on how their placements are, All In.
Okay.
Trying to do that live
afternoon.
and then go from there.
Okay. All right. I'll answer real quick. No, there's no way I could consume all that. Nope.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
Simple. I like that. But RJ, just to give you a heads up here, you said likely All In. They start at what, 3 o'clock? 3 p.m. is their start time?
I believe so. Yeah, they start in the afternoons.
They'll still finish at midnight. That's not the point.
You put the over under at like 9 o'clock Eastern.
9? I'm taking the over big time. Hey, honey,
well, that's
bet
why
the
you
house.
make it low.
Honey,
So
bet
wait a
the
minute,
house.
they start at 3 on Saturday?
Yeah, they moved the time because of the counter programming by WWE and Saturday Night's Main Event.
Okay.
And
Later tonight.
I know a lot of people are giving them flack for it. I understand why. You know what I mean? I get why they do it, but they got counter programmed.
Did, because the Great American Bash is at the same time now. So.
Oh my God! All right, so you can't physically watch it all at one time anyway.
You can only watch. You can watch All In, and you probably be able to go all in to Saturday Night's Main Event. Possibly. Now, according to Jimmy, you wouldn't be able to. But you should be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to watch the Great American Bash, but you would be able to live without watching the other. But yeah, so. Or you can have multiple TVs and split screen and do your thing.
There you go.
Some people have that
simulcast.
as well.
Guys, I can't watch one show for a long time, let alone two. Oh my God! What do y'all want me to go crazy and commit suicide?
Well, back in the day when I used to have DirecTV and I had the Sunday ticket or whatever, I would literally have the split screen of like the 8 games on it. Like, it was great. I loved it. And
well, you're talking football. It would be a little different, Daniel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still sports.
Like, you can watch plays at one time. It's like
right.
matches last for. You know what? For me, it's like I have the desktop here, the TV's right here. I could set up the laptop and kind of like look like I'm air traffic controller, but that's just too much.
Nah, I took us way off course, and I apologize, Jimmy. The original question was your thoughts for this weekend.
I think it's going to be interesting. There's a couple of matches from each show that I'm interested in, that I'm curious to see what happens. Well, since RJ is going to watch All In, I'm going to start there. Believe it or not, I'm curious to see what happens with Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. And I am really curious to see how they finish, how the finish of the match with Jon Moxley and Hangman in this Texas Death Match occurs. Are they going to finally take that? Is there a belt? Because we haven't seen it in 9 months, so rumors are that
allegedly
there's a belt there. Are they finally going to get that belt off the death ratings? I mean, the Death Riders. Sorry, slip of the tongue. But that's my problem with that match. Is it because people want to see Moxley lose more than they want to see Hangman win? Like, don't get me wrong, Hangman's over. He's got the crowd behind him, but is he that guy if they pull the trigger and have him win the title? What happens afterwards? Are they going to lose interest? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they do have a little over 21,000 there, which is a great crowd. Nobody can say anything. Seriously. Doesn't matter what 21,000 is a huge number. And their gate is massive. Honestly, for me, as far as All In Texas goes, y'all are gonna die when I say this, but I'm really because I'm prepared for what I'm gonna watch. I really want to see the Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. I'm really wanting to see that. I know it's going to be the uh, burning Phoenix Hammer Splash.
You forgot the
Forfeit.
450.
Okay, twisting burning 450 Phoenix Hammer Splash.
Well,
Okay. Anyway,
we'll give him the ball again. We'll give it to him.
look at Daniel's face. Daniel's like, you're an idiot.
I'm looking for my flag. I want to throw my flag.
But no, I'm actually looking forward to that, and I really want to see Moxley go down. I do. I think it's time. I think that stop it. For y'all listening, he's putting Earl Hebner's doll up in my face. But anyway,
he would get it right.
Yeah. But I just think that it's time, as Jimmy said. I mean, will it piss the AEW audience off more if he doesn't? I think so. I think it's time. But anyway, those are the two that I'm really looking forward to for that. So I'll end it there, and we'll go on to the next one, I guess.
Well, Daniel, we'll go over to Saturday night's main event, and there's been a lot of talks. We all of us listen to Bustin' Open. A lot of the podcasts have been talking about it. The Gunther and Goldberg match. How Bully Ray had his own turn or his own booking, I guess you could say, of it. Do you think that there's only a couple ways to do this match, or do you think there's kind of another way that nobody's thought about yet, Daniel?
I mean, absolutely, there's always a way no one thought of yet, because you're trying to anticipate what you think is going to happen based on what you know of how Goldberg wrestles and how Gunther wrestles and all that stuff. But completely be a left turn on this. But I'm actually really, truly looking forward to this match. And I'm one of the only few, because, God forbid Goldberg gets to wrestle again. Like, it's, the whole world's going to shut down because, and God forbid he gets a title match. Oh my gosh, it's such a terrible thing. But hey, it's intriguing TV regardless. It's got me focused. It's got last night's as we're recording this past week on Raw, the interaction between them two was great. You didn't get to see them go to blows like you thought they were about to, because they got taken away from the crowd. They booed. They didn't want it. They wanted to, but I love it. That's what you want. You want that. You want them, and I'm sure the audience at home, because it's like, all right, Saturday they go to blows. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a surprising match, maybe even a surprising finish. I don't know, but it's going to be a surprising match. You're going to be like, wow, that was not what I expected.
Yeah.
So Daniel, let me just do this. Let me just do this, Daniel.
Yep.
So none of us, and we discussed this not last week because we did a referee recap, but none of us on this panel were angry about the match. We were angry about the title being on the line.
I understand. Yeah.
Now, I will say in your defense, can you believe this? In your defense, I will say I am actually excited about the match because I don't know what I'm going to get. And that's what I'm excited about. So what are you excited about? Just the return of Goldberg, or what portion of this match? Like, obviously it's not the title.
I'm excited to see what they do.
There you go. That's me too. Yeah. I want to see what I get.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you think?
I feel like I will not be disappointed. And if I am, I will admit it next week on this show that I was disappointed and why I was. But I feel like I will not be disappointed, and no matter the finish, I feel like it's gonna entertain me completely.
That's the big word, entertain.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. These people who are complaining need to stop with this. We're not going to get a 5-star match from Goldberg like we're going to get from Okada and Omega.
Who's the bigger star? Who's the bigger star?
Thank you.
Only one person actually rates that anyways, and they've never given Gunther a 5-star match, have they? And he's had many.
Or Kurt Angle.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. But here's the other thing, too. All this week, ever since this match has come to, we have both these cards coming, Saturday night's main event and AEW's All In, which is their WrestleMania, basically. This weekend, this Saturday. What match is everybody talking about the most?
Bill Goldberg and Gunther.
Thank you. That tells you everything you need to know. It doesn't matter which show you tune into to listen about what's happening. That dominates the conversation because Bill Goldberg is a superstar. Yeah, he's an old guy from the past, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, people are interested in that. They've got them invested.
So last thing I'll say, on that Saturday night's main event is I'm really concerned about one match for this show that is announced. I don't know if they is the I don't know how WWE does that. I mean, have they announced all their matches for it?
I think so, pretty much.
Okay.
I know last time they had a match that they announced when they did the what you call it, the AAA pay-per-view before. That's when they did the Dominic and IC title match.
Right.
Okay. So the one match that really bothers me, because I know, and maybe I'm wrong, Jimmy, I'll get your feel on this too as well. LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. Does LA Knight get buried yet again?
I don't see any way
that's not happening, right?
That's not that he's getting buried, but I don't see him getting the W here.
But you don't feel like this
here's the saving grace. Here's the saving grace. Here's me holding out hope. Right?
Okay.
Here's me holding out hope.
Okay.
Right now that Seth Rollins has the Money in the Bank briefcase, technically him eating a pin here, getting a loss is okay because he still has that Money in the Bank briefcase to fall back on.
That's my thought process. They should do it that way.
I'm hoping they do. Despite all the interference from Braun and Double B, whatever they are. By the way,
the Oracle.
shout out to them for showing a little more personality. They're allowed to talk, which we didn't get from the other Bloodline members behind Roman Reigns. It's just a little, thought I'd throw that in there. But I'm holding out hope because if you keep pulling the rug out from under LA Knight, people are not going to be doing
I know that was why I said that match really, really bothers me because I think I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I just don't see them doing it. I mean, I don't.
There's going to have to be some sort of shenanigans in the match.
I gotta give a shout out though, because the one match that I know we got Randy Orton versus oh shoot. Why did I blank on this?
No, and you got no help.
Yeah.
You're on an island, brother.
What was I thinking?
Randy.
With Randy Orton and the Guilt.
Oh yeah, and Drew McIntyre, which is
Drew McIntyre.
Talk about a banger. That's going to be a banger. You know what's going to surprise a lot of people? AJ and Dominic.
Yep.
That's another one that scares me because I think that they're going to push it, Dominic, which I'm not saying they shouldn't. I think AJ's on his way either to be finished in wrestling or out the door, and who knows what's after that. That's another of my opinion.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Guys,
I love the man.
Well, yeah.
Well, rumor has it he signed a new deal, 1-year deal extension on his contract. So,
right. But I mean, is his job now to enhance newer talent?
Could be, maybe.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, Dominic's been on a roll. I mean, Dominic has shown me a lot. I mean, he really has. He really has. And I don't see them putting AJ over him right now. But we'll see, man. That's why we watch matches, right?
Yeah. Well, there's always a chance. But, well, guys, why don't we do this? Why don't we send it up to our jam-packed Red Film review this week before we bring in our very special guest, Carlito, this week in our ref review right here on Reffing It Up.
This is Reffin' Review.
Jimmy, man, last week in the Asuka and Jade match there, I believe it was at King of the Ring, pardon me, so a few weeks ago. Little snafu, we'll say, at the end. Do you care to explain? I believe the referee was Daphne, right?
Yes. Now, I'm going to say the apparent snafu, there was a little hiccup, but here's what happened.
What is that word? What is
snafu?
Snafu?
Is it like tofu?
Similar, but more vegan.
Mistake.
So So there
Oh
was
boy.
a little hiccup in the finish after uh, Jade got Asuka down. She reared back like she normally does, pulls back on the leg. But as Daphne started counting one, she started to slip. Two, she fell all the way back, and Asuka's body was twisted like it was twisted. I will give her that.
Mm-hmm.
And Daphne counted three. Now the of course interweb went crazy with all the ref police coming out of the woodwork saying, "Well, how come you're not calling them out because her shoulder was up?" Guess what? The only person that had a clear view of that was Daphne. The camera didn't catch it. We didn't see the shoulders.
Mhm.
Now we can assume that Oscar's shoulder was up only because of her positioning, but you can't say 100% certainty that one of her shoulders were up. So if you're going to call out Daphne, you can't because we don't know for sure. She's the only one, and Stewie on the other side with the camera and Rico. Those are the only three people that know, and the people in the truck.
And here's the other thing too is that let's say that at the very last second the shoulder does pop up and it's like a simultaneous. The shoulder comes up, she hits three. It's almost like you can go either way with that, and I think them calling it to finish right there, you could say yes, and if she decided to not call it to finish and wave it off and say her shoulder got up, you could justify that. If it's that close, it can go either way. You can go either way. So kudos if that was the actual finish. So kudos just to go with it and let it be and luckily they didn't show any other camera angle that like Jimmy was saying like to make it only person that really knew was maybe that Stu on the other side and Daphne. So
Well, the problem was that it looked wonky.
Mhm.
And wonky's okay, but I'm just saying it looked wonky, and that's why you heard all the I don't know, like you said, the ref police come out, Jimmy, because it just wasn't a clean finish kind of deal, and it did look wonky. But as Daniel said, all right, well, what do you do? Why not just go with it? It wasn't so wonky that it was looked crazy. So let's just move on.
yeah.
Also, I wanted to get your comments. Dan, you brought this to our attention. The Maple Leaf Pro pay-per-view this past weekend. I believe it was the Giselle Shaw and Shanti Blackheart title match, um, where we'll say, for the better use of terms, some
Well,
shenanigans happen.
yeah. So I'll just go like this. It was their big show they had in Montreal, and by the way, I heard they had a great house, and congratulations to what they're doing in up in Canada, Maple Leaf Pro. But the referee Emily Parker, who has done some stuff at Impact at the time. She's never done anything at TNA, but when it was branded as Impact, she did a couple times some explosion matches, kind of things like that, where little small little things that we would use her and give her some reps, some little bit of TV experience. Um, she's kind of been on, I think, almost on every one of their shows, and so basically, what this match happened, we'll just kind of break it down. There was a spot where she gets kind of trapped in the corner, and then they go and do there's a roll up. She immediately goes down. She's in the corner. She immediately goes down and counts at the ass, and I think part of that is because of what happens next. She steps back up. Um, Giselle goes to super kick Chauncey. Chauncey ducks and super kicks Emily. Emily goes down, and then Chauncey's like trying to turn around, and here comes Matt Cardona, who has this feud running with Chauncey online. Comes in, gives him the finish, but or gives her his finish. Goes down, and then they mainly at some other things happen. Giselle goes to cover. Emily slides over and immediately counts. By the way, she just took a super kick, so she counted as if she was normal, like never got hit. So that's mistake number two, because mistake number one was counting at the ass. Mistake number two was counting two normal, like nothing happened to you. It went from 0 to hero. And then Shanti kicks out at 2.2, not even like 2.999, 2.2 basically, and she hits the mat completely not looking at the shoulders. You could tell she's probably looking at her placement on the mat. Calls for the bell. Giselle looks at her, and there was this whole moment where they're like, "That was two," and the bell rings. Then they wave it off. No, it was two. There was a confusion. Even the ring announcer starts to announce. The music comes on. Like, it's a whole thing. Cardona's in the back, like, freaking out. Like, what's going on? Like, a stunned look on his face. Like, what the hell's happening? Then they continue to go on with the next spot, which is where Chauncey does the shoot reverse. She basically goes. Giselle ducks her. She goes through past Giselle, goes through the ropes and knocks out Cardona. Comes back in the ring, but then Giselle hits her with Giselle's finish, which is like a knee to the face or whatever. Goes down. Then Emily goes with mistake number, I guess, 4 at this time. She goes down to count 1, 2. Nope, she didn't even hit 2. She was confused, hit the 3, hit the third one after not hitting the 2, calls for the bell, scared out of her mind, scared to death. So basically that's, I just want to give you a heads up, or give you the rundown of what happened. I think, Jimmy, did I kind of nail all of that pretty much for the most part?
You got pretty much everything that I saw.
Yeah.
And
so my take is this is in a situation like that, these are considered big matches and big moments and stuff like this. You can buy now. Granted, I do know her a little bit because working with her and kind of know how she's reffed or whatnot. But my professional opinion, and guys, you can back me up on this, is that this is somebody that should not be refereeing a match on TV in a big moment like this. And this is also, I think, her second or third time she's messed up a finish at one of Giselle Shaw's matches, actually, at MLP, is what I've seen other clips. So it's unfortunate. And I'll say this: I've heard a rumor and innuendo out there is that our good pal, we love him, Scott D'Amore, wants to give Canadian refs the opportunity and not use American refs, and I get that. But I'm going to take the, hey, you got to, we right there on this panel, we've got a Canadian ref that you can easily bring in, and bring in and do these shows. Makes it just pay for some good refs, bring them in, bring the good guys in, help bring the Emily Parkers in, bring some of the other people that you can the good refs can help teach and coach so they can eventually take over. Or you're bringing in talent from the states that are also not Canadian, that are wrestlers. Just bring in, you did it once before, just bring in American refs that also have TV experience. I'm not, there's a few out there that I know that you've used before, or there's others out there that would love the opportunity to have experience. So that's my take on that. Is just you get what, like, you're going to have issues like this, and it kind of buries your product, and you have a good product, so let's not bury it with bad refereeing. And that's my take on it, guys. You go ahead.
Well, here, let me just touch on this real quick. I love Scott D'Amore. So
I do too. I love him. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
I don't know why he wouldn't be the guy who would reach out to Jimmy and say, "Hey, who do you recommend that
that works too?"
You know what I mean? I'm sure Jimmy has put his stripes away for the most part. And if not, I apologize. But I'm just saying, a call to Jimmy and in some aspect would be something I certainly would do if I'm running shows in Canada. And I know Scott knows a lot of people, and he's very well known up there in Canada. But, the thing is, the only defense I have for this is that I know that it's a more or less an upstart company.
Yeah.
So I think the corners that he's cutting sometimes are the ones you shouldn't cut, in my opinion.
Right.
This is something that was taught. Daniel, you were there. That was taught when I came back to TNA. They were willing to put up bucks that they weren't willing to put up for referees. And it's because they realized, I think through Tommy Dreamer and D'Lo, that we need to pay this guy because we need a good referee and we need him to teach our guys. But he's not going to be around forever.
Right.
Let's. And I think that was, and I think that was the way that I was able to get the financial, I guess, satisfaction to come back. And it was because of other guys pushing someone like Scott D'Amore, who wasn't willing at first to do that kind of thing. And it was something they had to work on. So, I'll just end it with this. I was flipping over to Jimmy, but all I'm saying is I just think that when you cut corners in certain areas, it shouldn't be your in-ring product, personally. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say that from a personal standpoint, I like Emily. She's nice.
She is sweet. I love her
she's
too.
She's a sweet girl. What happened, from my opinion, watching this, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody, so I don't know. Is after the first little mishap with the first false finish, she got flustered, and it was just it was a downhill spiral from there. My only issue is that first time. Okay, she took the bump. The first count where she counted at the butt. That could have been easily fixed.
Easily, yeah.
Easily fixed with the
But
talent.
even if that's the first one, it doesn't matter. That one is not as memorable as the second one, right?
Someone needed to be there, whoever the agent is, listening to what's going on. Okay, you're going to bump the referee. Do you know what you need to do here?
Right.
Okay, you take the bump. All this stuff's going to happen. When you come in to count, you're going to still be selling.
Mm-hmm.
Count 1, 2, and make sure she knows that that's not the finish.
Right.
She seemed, I guess she got a little confused and thought that was the finish. So she counted 3, called for the bell, and the bell actually rang.
Yep. And the music started playing.
And yeah, and then Giselle Shaw and Matt Cardona both had shocked looks on their face, giving the old, like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
You know what? In that situation, it looked bad. The crowd was completely confused afterwards because she was waving it off and all this stuff was going on. You didn't need to do all the aftermath afterwards.
No.
You know what? It got messed up.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. The way it worked out with Cardona hitting his finish on Chauncey, it would have been perfectly fine for that to be the finish. You didn't have to do all the extra gaga. And that's sometimes some of the problems too, is when you have a mishap like this, the talent has to be smart enough to say, hey, you know what? If we continue on from this, instead of just moving forward, and just live with what happened,
yeah,
that would have been better off.
Well, here's the other thing you could have done too. They could have. That's the finish. Okay, she kicked out, but whatever. And then she could get up, and Chauncey could get up after that and be mad, and they could still do the spot where she takes out Cardona, and it still would have got a pop, and everything would have been fine, and they still would have got everything in because Giselle was going over anyways. So it didn't matter that, and you could probably turn it into something where they could replay it the next show and say, look, I actually kicked out, but the referee called the bell, and referees, so I want a rematch, or I want to whatever.
Daniel, you know what though? You're right. You're right. But you know the best way to fix that?
What's that?
Pay an extra $150 to a referee who's willing to take a little bit more money and asking for it. That's more experienced. That's all.
Yeah. Only 150?
I'm just saying. I'm guaranteed there are referees that are out there in Canada. I don't know the exchange rate anymore, but let's just say.
But here's the thing too. Like we gotta. I'm gonna say this is overall. This is referee review, right? Mm-hmm. Guys, referees, I understand out there in all America and Canada and everywhere you're, even over in the UK, you're listening. Guys, there's a time and a place. You hurt the business when you decide to fly yourself into somewhere, work for free just to get reps. When you're training and doing stuff, you do like basic little small stuff, but you don't fly yourself in and do all this stuff because sometimes a promoter will go, oh, I can use this guy for free instead of paying a good ref $150. I'll use the free guy. And what that does is, yes, it's giving the guy reps, but it hurts the business itself and it hurts our craft. Quit doing that. I'm just going to say quit doing that. Unless it's one of those situations where you're helping a brother out, you're doing a benefit show or you're doing something where, hey, I've refereed in 49 states and I want to get my 50th. Okay, then that makes sense. Go get your 50th by paying yourself to get there. But quit doing that shit. You're hurting everything, and that's why we have the situation we had today. I'm not saying that's what happened with Maple Leaf Pro, but I'm just saying people, I can get a cheap guy for $20 instead of paying $100 for a good one. I'm going to go with the $20 person, and then you get what you paid for. And sometimes it's shitty matches and shitty reffing, and that is the problem. And it's been a problem with this industry for quite a bit.
And by the way, if anybody's out there listening that ever wants me to do anything for them, if you offer me $150, don't fucking call my phone. Don't fucking call it.
Well,
and the 150,
and I was just using that as a just a analogy or example.
Daniel, we can say that we know some referees out there, me and you personally, that have done things for $150
or less.
Yes, and you know what? I'll never, and I respect the thing that you just said. Stop being a ref whore. Make yourself worth something. and worth something's not $50 to fly yourself in. No, that's being a fucking mark. And that's killing the referee business and yourself. And you don't realize that.
There's a time when you're starting out that you've got to hop in the car with people, take your gear, hope for an opportunity, ref a couple matches, get reps, do training. That is a time. But once you get to a certain level, well, obviously if you're at a level where you're on TV or whatever, once you get to that certain level, you no longer are that ref. You're no longer that person.
Right.
And if you say, hey, I get to work this show and if only I could do it, if they're only going to pay me $50, but man, I get the ref XYZ versus XYZ. You're a fucking mark. Stop. Don't go. Let somebody else have that opportunity. That probably does. That's probably there. And anyways,
Killing themselves in their career.
Right.
So, guys, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a brief break from the show?
By the way, real quick, I want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to a positive thing. We've done a lot of negative. Shout out to Paul Turner in the match on Collision against the Outrunners and FTR. Amazing match itself. Go back and watch it. Pay-per-view quality, but also Paul Turner did an amazing job. Thank you, Paul. That's how it's done. Tag team wrestling. Shout out to Paul Turner.
I'm going to double up on that because he did also a great job in the match with Okada and Ibushi.
Why do we have to end positive? Why do we have to end positive?
Because I just want to give a positive thing, and I think Paul Turner sometimes
I'm
we don't
kidding.
give him flowers, and he deserves his flowers.
Paul did a great job. Paul's always been a good referee, bro.
I know. I'm not saying he's not.
He's just hamstrung by
He is, man.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of negative with that promotion too, and and Paul is one of the best, and I want to put him over. So there you go.
Yeah. So, guys, on that note, we're ending positive. Why don't we take a break and we're going to start being cool with our very special guest in our second count.
Oh, you're stealing his gimmick? That's not cool.
No, that's not cool.
You're gonna get spit in the face.
He's gonna spit in your face.
Yeah.
Apple coming your way.